It's a pleasure to be speaking with you both today. You're both
Yes.
represented on the T.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
But just congratulations to you both on 40 years of Clue. I'm just curious, first of all, while you've been doing press together for the anniversary, I know you're doing events, just have new memories maybe come back to you while revisiting the film. And Lesley, if you want to take it away to start.
Well, I see Colleen nodding. So why don't you start?
Okay.
Let me think about that. Go ahead.
Well, I new memories, and I don't even know if Leslie Ann remembers this, but I was saying recently, first of all, it's been extraordinary, and memories of how brilliant and conducive it was to work. And as we continue to work on different films and projects, I think the thing that really brings back a memory to me is what the atmosphere was like. And that when I relive that atmosphere and have that memory of how great it was to work together and to have that freedom to have a director that let you be alive in those characters and that you actually were so excited about all the other actors and have that ensemble was been very emotional and nostalgic for me. And
One of, oh, sorry.
I don't know. And I one more thing. And then to know, for me anyway, remember, I was working with icons. So when I got on that set and I'm seeing Lesley Ann Warren,
You're so
I knew her from Cinderella. I'm like, I've hit paid her. So that was a very emotional memory of what it was like to be an actress and you're getting to meet your idols. And so that's been an interesting memory to go back and have that experience. But I'll hand it back over to Lesley
Yeah,
Ann.
just going to add listening to you, Colleen, one of the great memories I have of that was that we were all brought together once we were all cast. Jonathan Lynn, the director, brought all of us together at Paramount to sit in a screening room and watch His Girl Friday because he wanted us all as a group to understand the tempo of the dialogue, the delivery, the tone, the tenor of the voices, all of that as a group, so that when we got to the set, we would be on the same page creatively. And, that luxury hasn't happened in a while. It's rare to be with a filmmaker or a studio for that matter that supports that kind of research as a group together. So that was an incredible memory for me. And I came in at the very tail end of the studio system. So I was under contract to Robert Evans. I was under contract to Walt Disney, for a specific amount of films. And I got to really experience what being taken care of in those ways. I felt that on Clue, so that was something that was very, very special for me.
I'll say clearly, this time together beforehand paid off. You guys all, just the ensemble work in this film is incredible. You're all hilarious, just across the board. I watched it again last night, just cracking up the whole time. But I guess, did you have to do like cardio before filming? Just all the running, not just the two of you, all of you do throughout this film. It's just like you're here, there, everywhere the whole time.
I think if we'd done cardio, we wouldn't have made it through one take. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But it was so fun. We had such a great time as a group. The one who really was staggering was Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Because not only did he run everywhere, but he had so much dialogue and he had to deliver it at such a speed and then turn on a dime and go to an amazing, amazing performance and brilliant actor.
And, for both of you, obviously everyone kind of goes to the flames moment as one of their favorite moments. But that moment aside, do you have like a favorite line or moment that maybe doesn't get as much attention? Like I said, I was watching last night. My husband said he was always obsessed with the moment of you, Colleen, going up the stairs with Michael McKean.
Oh my God, I love that you said that. I love that you said that.
He's obsessed with that moment.
Oh, by the way, And that was almost an improvisation in the sense that, first of all, my favorite, the line of the Demon's duck upstairs, I'm frightened. So, well, I'm frightened as a dog. Will anyone go with me? I will. I will. No, thank you. I mean, what's
God, look
funny
at how
about
you
that?
remember that.
It,
Amazing.
it was so freaking funny to me. And then there's safety in numbers, my dear. And as we looked at the approach to the stairs, and I just made a decision, since they were so narrow, that I was going to physically make that moment land. It's not improvisational. It was just taking the circumstance and looking at the narrowness and my upper body and how am I going to get up the stairs. But it works with the setup, and the setup is so freaking funny that seeing as simple as not the flames, which is jeez, and you're just staring, looking at the flames like, oh my God, have I just witnessed the most brilliant comedy piece ever?
Absolutely.
But the setup, and that's the thing that's so interesting, because if you're frightened of the stairs, will anyone go with you? Frightened of the dark and all of that, and you're going up the stairs, what's funny about that is it's set up and no one wants to go with me. And then I'm just trying to maneuver the way. I'm glad your husband likes that. I think that's really funny. I think that that's set up with those two. And it was Martin Mull and Michael McKean.
Yeah.
They did not want to go near me with the stairs at all. I mean, I do think that's funny. I do think that's funny.
How about you, Lesley? An maybe underrepresented moment that's one of your favorites.
Oh, well, I don't, I mean, I've gotten
It's
a
fine
chance.
to be with the faves too, the ones everyone
No,
loves.
no, no. Of course, of course, the brilliance of Madeline Kahn in that moment is staggering. But I guess, you know, I love all of her, Miss Scarlett's sort of disdain for everybody and everything that's going on around her. So maybe that line when I go, it's my defense mechanism. You know? I don't know. I have
Right, and
some,
all your just reaction faces throughout the movie too
yeah,
are great.
Yeah.
You know, we always see you in the corner just going.
yeah, really not buying any of it. Yeah.
And I saw an interview you both did with Forbes recently, and I know Lesley, you said you weren't sure people would still love you if you weren't young and fabulous. Just because for both of you, I think, because of these roles in the film were so like vampy, kind of sex pot, femme fatale. Is that kind of a double-edged sword for a role like this, where you are so recognized for it, but it is kind of in almost a box it might put you in?
I think for me, honestly, it was more of a personal journey that I was determined to make and take, you know? So it really wasn't outside pressure. It was inside pressure. It was my
Got
own, you know, because I grew up in movies and film.
Yeah.
I started when I was 18 in Cinderella, and, you know, people have been so appreciative and so beautiful in their responses to me my whole, you know, life. I feel so blessed. So that I thought, if I wasn't that, would they still love me? But I did this short film, which I'm so insanely proud of, Olive, which is now a contender for the Academy Award. And I let myself go there, you know, 100%. And the response has been something I could only dream of, really, or my mother would write. But, you know, so I learned that in fact is just my own issue that is time to put to bed.
And how about you, Colleen? Just
That's a
did you
really-
ever feel like you were kind of pigeonholed in a certain image after doing a film? I know obviously when the film first came out, it
Well,
wasn't
it's a
huge,
really
but
interesting question, because I was thinking about people that are character actors and actresses and are actors and are stars. And
yeah,
I would characterize Lesley Ann as a character actress and a star. And the reason I say that is because when you look at Betty Davis or Stanwyck, or you look at certain character actresses that can play any kind of role, whether you're in Jezebel or the old maid, and Betty Davis is so brilliant, or All About Eve. And I think this the saving grace to someone like Betty Davis. And by the way, you can be, I mean, I think what's so interesting is when you see, even interestingly enough, Cary Grant, because Cary Grant, who is brilliant, brilliant actor, brilliant comedically, brilliant athlete, And also, he could be in North by Northwest. He could be in Bringing Up Baby. He
Right.
could be in Penny Serenade, and he could do many things. I think for me, what was really interesting is in 1975, I did a movie called Death Game, and it was with Sandra Locke and Seymour Cassell. And I later produced it with Keanu Reeves and Ana de Armas and Eli Roth. And it was an absolute fatal attraction, kind of crazy character, very
Mhm.
dramatic role. And it was written by the woman that wrote Play Misty for me for Clint Eastwood. So it was that kind of a tense thriller. And it was a completely dramatic part, but with shades, of humor.
Yeah.
And Oren Siegel and I went to see the movie about 20 years ago, and he said, I don't know why this makes me laugh. And he says to me, oh my God, if more people had seen this movie at the time, you would have had a completely different career. Right? Now, that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just that I was cast in a lot, even though I had a voluptuous body, and whether I played the Playboy Bunny in Apocalypse Now, I
Mhm.
was cast in a lot of comedies. And so whether it was Smile or Smokey the Bandit 3, or whether it was Wayne's World or The Joy of Sex or Valley Girl, I was cast in a lot of comedic roles. Or Police Academy is it? And
Yep.
so the good news about being able to do comedy, which Lesley Ann is brilliant at, is that comedy is something that can sustain for decades. Because if
Yeah.
you make somebody laugh, you can make them laugh at 20, you can make them laugh, and
At
and
80.
at 80. But what was interesting is I did a House episode once, and Penny Marshall called me, and you would have thought I was Ingrid Bergman in Notorious. She said, oh my God, I just saw you in House. Such a great dramatic part. I said, well, come to my house every day and you'll see drama. So I do think people do get pigeonholed sometimes. And I would imagine for Lesley Ann,
I've always thought of myself as a character actress. And even when I was 18 years old, I'm not kidding, because the way that I studied, it was all about the character. And
right?
I never wanted to be pigeonholed or known for one thing, or, so that had to do with, the way that I was taught and what drew me to acting in the first place, so I hear you. And I love what you
Because
said.
even as Cinderella, whether she's this beautiful, angelic, ingenue who sings, by the way,
Yep.
brilliantly, but
She's a person. She was a person to me.
that's
She was
right.
a whole human being with,
That's right.
what she was dealing with. So anyway, I think we're out of time, right?
Yep. We
I
are, and I
see
will
this-
say
We're
clearly
out
it's
of
a
time.
testament to your skills that we're talking about this movie 40 years later. Just congrats to you both. It's
Thank
a
you,
pleasure.
thank
It's a
you.
pleasure to speak
Ryan,
with you.
thank you
Nice to
so much.
meet
I
you.
love your shirt.
Thank
Yeah.
The shirt is insane. I love that shirt.
you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.